Good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock, 4:30. I just got back from my shift at Coco Fruity. Was today busy? Today it was not that busy, no. It was not that busy today at Coco Fruity. I'm going to apply at the McDonald's though. This Coco Fruity is getting annoying. I hate washing dishes, man. Washing dishes is not fun. It's not fun, man. Washing dishes is not fun. Hence why good 4-5 years is I'm done, and I'm done doing these shitty jobs. And once I get my boat proofread and I design my cover, I'm gonna let the gates know, and I'm gonna pay the fee, and I'm gonna take my money, take my wife, and I'm peacing out. There we go. Is VJ proud? Yeah, VJ's proud of me, obviously, but VJ knows the families don't want me being king. They're willing to do anything to prevent me from being king because they're crazy people, man. More bullshit's gonna happen. They're gonna try and delay it, man. Yeah. Even though I wrote the masterpiece and I have the keys to the kingdom, I'm at a disadvantage because I'm poor. Because the gatekeepers lock all doors on me, I'm very poor. Whereas they have trillions in their bank and they're so powerful, they're the boss. They can do shit to prevent me from being king because they're crazy people. They're so desperate they're willing to do anything to prevent me being king. That's why they threw me in the hospital. They deleted my file. Yeah, they fucked up my laptop and they deleted my file. I had to rewrite that, and they threw me in the hospital. They're crazy people. They sabotaged my tax. I know my tax was sabotaged because I paid all my taxes, man. There's no way I owe the government $800. Every time I get paid, I always pay my fucking taxes. And I owe the government, I don't owe them $300, I owe them $800. I owe the government $800. So last year I had to pay $700. This year I have to pay $800. So the gatekeepers are fucking wicked people, yeah. Wicked people. Wicked people at the gates, yeah, man. That's why God gave you the keys, Ivan. That way you can open your own door and the gates don't dupe you. I know you have anxiety and everyone hits you with the keys, but that's how you open a door, Ivan. That's how it works. That's how you open a door. And that's how it works. That's how the keys works, right? Yeah, that's how it works, man. Ivan, trust me, I know you hate the keys because people can read your mind and people talk and they hate on you, but like you're opening the door, and that's how you make your easy money, man. That's how I make my easy billions on my book. And the gates don't, they don't do me. They don't take my money. You know what I'm saying? They don't take my money. Because what? Because what? The gatekeepers are never going to let me and VJ be billionaires. It's not going to happen. Hence why God gave me the keys. Because I'm the heir to the kingdom. Okay, Ivan, you're the heir to the kingdom. You're the son of God. VJ's the spirit of God. I'll give you guys the keys. Well, me and VJ, we program our own mind with the keys because we're God, right? God is us. It's our spirit. Like, I'm Y in the flesh. I'm God in the flesh. My father is me. My father is me, the spirit talking to you through my flesh right now, right? I'm Y. I programmed my mind with the keys when I was born, and VG programmed her mind with the keys when she was born because we knew the gatekeepers would lock all the doors, and that's hence why we have to program our mind with the keys. That way we can control our own money and make our easy billions. That's how we make our easy billions. The keys is power. It's a lot of power. I think something and then I open the door and everyone around the world's aware. You get this noise. And the noise goes viral around the world and everybody knows. That's how it works. And that's how I open the door. And I make my billions, obviously. The gates don't do me. Because if you didn't have the keys, you'd have to sell it to the gates. If I sold out to the gates, I get a garbage VJ and I'll be sharing with the world forever. Because the world's I made a mess. They're never going to let me give Victoria Justice all to myself unless I pay for it. Because the world's crazy, hence why I had to come with the keys. I knew the world I made's a mess. Yeah. Man. That's what I give the keys out. I know they don't like the keys, but that's how you open the door, man, and you make your easy buttons. That's how you open the door. Power. Yeah. The gates are very powerful. They locked everything on me. I have like no views on my channel because I have the keys. When I upload my video, the whole world knows about it. And you guys are all watching my videos even while they're locking me. It's power. That's why God gave me the keys, because the gates locked everything on me. Everything is locked around the world on me, man. The only thing I can do is minimum wage. That's why he gave me the keys, and he also gave me the creative gift, the gifts. That way I can make an album or make a movie or write a book. And I decided to write my masterpiece, my Xanus novel, my amazing book. It's a book worth billions, as I showed you guys, right? Oh, I haven't shown us more. No, I'm not showing you more. I don't want to spoil story for you, man. I'm not showing you more. See what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to spoil what? The story for you, man. I'm not showing you you more worlds. I'm saying. No, I even seriously, man. How do you do it, man? Like, every time I read your book, your characters jump on a page. It's a gift I have. I don't know how I do it, man. God gave me a creative gift. Ivan, did you notice your characters jump on the page when you read it? Yes. That's why I was shocked when I read my book. I was very shocked. I'm like, holy shit! I wrote a masterpiece. And when I read my book, I knew right away. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be the best fantasy I've ever written, because I've read other fantasy. I've read Narnia. I've read other books. I'm like, these books are not mine, but there's something unique about my story. I didn't know I had the gift when I started writing. Before, I remember when I was in high school, I used to, it's a crazy story. I remember when I was in high school, I used to read books from other, like, authors in class and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The teachers would do, like, lessons on, like, English and all that stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, man, it must be tough to write a book. I didn't know I was God back then, you know what I'm saying? It must be tough to write a book, obviously. And I fucking wrote my own fantasy novel better than all those books. I wrote a unique novel. It'll be the best novel ever written. And you guys read snippets of my book. Be honest, my book, any book entertaining the way of my book, and no, Ivan, there's something about your book that's very unique. It stands out. Yeah, the characters up on a page. It feels very fresh when you read it. These other novels feel dry when you read it. My book doesn't feel dry when you read it. It feels fresh. It has that fresh spark. My story, when you read it, it feels like life has been breathed into the story. Like I breathed life into the story. I gave it 2 examples of 2 leaves, right? 2 beautiful leaves. One is dry and beautiful. The other one is beautiful, but it's neutralized. There's the water breathed life into the leaf. That's the picture I get with Lord of the Rings in my book. So I'm saying, oh yeah, I was just saying, yeah. My book, when I told you my book is better than Lord of the Rings, guys, I wasn't joking around. And you guys probably thought I wasn't that good of a writer. Then once you started reading my book, you're like, yeah, Ivan's book's number 1. Yeah, my book's number 1, man. There's a reason why my stepmother told me, yo, Ivan, your book is number 1, and Hollywood would love your story. Well, I'm not fucking selling my soul to Hollywood system. I don't want to be in that that dirty ass system, man. No fucking way. Hollywood's fucking dirty as fuck. I don't want to be in Hollywood. I don't want to be a dirty slave in Hollywood. I want my freedom, and I can start my own film studio in Hollywood. Why the fuck would I be in Hollywood? Fuck Hollywood. I don't want to be in Hollywood. Yeah, he's like, Ivan, don't sell, man. Hollywood's dirty as fuck. I know. Hollywood's dirty as fuck. I don't want to be in Hollywood. I don't want to be in the Hollywood system. Fuck that. The billions I make off the book, I can start my own film studio. Better in Hollywood. With the billions I make off the book. So why the fuck would I sell in the Hollywood system? Like, it's common sense. I have the keys. I'm not selling to you, man. I'm not selling to the gates. 0. The money off the books from you, VJ. Is not for you. Yeah. So the Gates agree, psychopaths. Yeah, there's a reason why they're going to threaten me. They're going to try and use scare tactics to get me to sell to them. When you know if I sell to you, you're going to destroy my life, man. I'm going to have a garbage Victoria Justice, and we'll be fucking people every day for generations. Are you fucking crazy? I'm not accepting that deal. I want VJ all to myself. I don't want to share with the fucking world all these trashy women, man. I want my wife all to myself. I don't want a fresh wife to myself. I don't want to share with the world. Because I'm a one-woman kind of guy. I'm not interested in banging a bunch of women. It's not who I am. Yeah. Some Sarah? Easy, Ivan, I love your book. I know, sweetie. I wrote a masterpiece, man. I wrote an amazing book. Yeah. No, Ivan, seriously, man, is your whole book entertaining like that? Yes, man. Every time I show you guys stuff, you're entertained, right? Yeah. Every every chapter is constant entertainment, like the whole way through, all 3 volumes. There's some sections of the chapters that are not as interesting, obviously, but they're still entertaining enough to keep you turning the page. As Young Takis, I told you, is my weakest chapter in volume 1, and what you guys read so far, yeah, that's still entertaining. Yeah, what you read in Young Takis was still entertaining, and that's my weakest chapter in volume 1. The prologue is my weakest chapter in the book. The prologue was still entertaining enough to keep you hooked. Land and Chaos is arguably my weakest chapter. For me personally, it's my weakest, but some people might like it more than like. I think Land and Chaos is the weakest chapter out of the, or you can argue the Capture chapter is the weakest one, but I mean, Land and Chaos for me personally is the most boring for me because it's politics. Yeah, Land and Chaos is what's going on in Barak and in Xanus with Queen Sarah, Baramis, and Maramis, and Lithius, Taki's sister. When you guys got a snippet of the plot, when Takis leaves the walls, they kept the missing prince a secret, but then the crowd's getting suspicious because Taki is beloved by the people of Xanus. They're like, "Where's the prince? We want to speak to the queen." And they lied and said he's recovering from a fever, but he didn't recover from a fever. He left the walls. That's why you have this chaos in Xanus. Why is there chaos? Because Takis is the beloved prince of Xanus. The people love him, and they're curious, like where the fuck's the prince? And then you have that. That's what that chapter is about, pretty much. You have the politics. There's also other stuff that happened with Queen Sarah. I don't want to spoil the story for you. You'll see it when you read it. And there's other stuff that happened with Maramis and Baramis. It's an interesting chapter. It's still an entertaining chapter. It's not as entertaining as the other ones, like Takis, Colonies, Lithia. Those chapters are more entertaining. But even that chapter is entertaining enough to hook you, man. As you guys read, I showed you guys the beginning of that chapter, right? But Your Majesty, we must keep the missing prince secret. Something like that. The people are becoming suspicious. I'm now sick. I know. All my chapters are entertaining. There's not one boring chapter in my book. All my chapters are entertaining. I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah, man. I wrote a masterpiece. That's why the Gates want to control my band. Yeah, I now understand why the Gates want to control my band. You wrote a masterpiece. Yes, man. I showed you guys symbols of my book. Yeah, your book's fucking entertaining. Yes, man. The whole book is entertaining. It's the most unique book ever written. It's the best fantasy novel ever written. Nothing will top it. And they know it's $1 billion story. I have the keys on the Son of God. They know the whole will buy it. But they also know it's $1 billion story. They know it's going to be a very, very popular... It's going to be a very, very popular fantasy series. It'll be out Harry Potter, man. My Last of Us Xanus book series will be more popular than J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter because I wrote a better book than J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. Yeah. And book critics behind the scenes are going to call like an entertaining ride of a lifetime, a literary cinematic masterpiece. They might call it a literary cinematic masterpiece. Because when you read my book, it's like reading a book movie because the characters are constantly jumping out on the page. That's why it's so entertaining and you're hooked. That's why they're looking at like crazy reviews, man. It's crazy. Yeah. crazy, man. Looking at like raving reviews. And so whenever I make the movie, the whole world's buzzing. And they're going to be, I can't wait to watch this movie, man. This is going to be a masterpiece. Yeah, Xanus will be a masterpiece. And from what I showed you guys don't understand why my movie will be a masterpiece. You're looking at an amazing story. This is Lord of the Rings. Oh, I know, please. Lord of the Rings. So I'm looking at an amazing what? Amazing movie. Will the movie be better than the book? Yes, I know some fans might like the book better than the movie, but I highly doubt it. I'm acting as Tactius and VJ's Lithia. The movie will be better than them, and I'm bringing the demonic characters to life and the world to life. Because in my book, the world building is very vague, but then when I make the movie, I'm bringing the world to life. Things I'm like Rivendell for Xanus. It's like a beautiful heavenly kingdom, right? Whereas in the book, I give very vague descriptions for the lands. But the world building still jumps out on the page because the characters make it jump out on the page. The characters make it jump out on the page of the world building, yeah. Some Sarah? Yeah. And when I release my book on Lulu for the world to buy, and the world buys my book, obviously, you're looking at a public embarrassment in the entertainment industry. Because all these successful authors like I'm talking about the best books in the industry, obviously, like Way of Kings. I'm talking about the fact genre, right? Game of Thrones, Way of Kings, Wheel of Time, Stephen Erickson's Malzahn. You know what I'm saying? Lord of the Rings, The Chronicles of Narnia, Harry Potter. When I release my book, it'll be a public embarrassment in the industry whereby all these authors are going to feel like shit. Because even though these authors are very talented, obviously, they have editors who help them with their book. Whereas Ivan did everything himself. No one helped me with my book at all. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah, like we write a book and we have the best editors in the business who edit our books. And yet Ivan did everything himself, and his book blows our books out of the water. It's way more entertaining because those guys don't have the creative gift they don't have the heavenly creative gift that I have. God gave me and these are the gifts. Because he knew the gatekeepers locking doors, and that's why God gave me the gift. Yeah, if you want to own your own brand, I have to give you a gift. He gave me the gift. I can do stand-up comedy, I can act, I can do a movie, I could rap, I could sing, I could write a book. I'm talented, obviously, right? Just like VJ can do all that too because she has the gift like me too, VJ. God gave us the gift because he knew the gatekeepers were locking doors and us. Yeah. Some Sarah? That's why what? Yeah, I thought you were good, but I didn't know you were that good, man. I thought your book might be maybe pretty good, but it might be a bit boring. And I read your book. Holy shit, there's something different about your style of writing in your book. It feels very fresh. The characters on the page, I know. I'm a gifted storyteller. You are gifted. Yes, I'm a gifted storyteller. I showed her the scene with Tactius. And young Tactius, the Eagles are like, I'm just keeping an eye on you. Good day. He's like, Eagles! You know what I'm saying? And he's in his chambers, and they go outside the rails, the balcony in his chambers, obviously. And he looks ahead, and he sees the wall. He's like, Thomas, you ever wonder what's beyond those walls? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's like, do not the prey take shelter, protection, or run away. He's like, you mean monsters, cousin? Yeah, like, he's curious, obviously. Like, why is there a wall built? He's curious why there's a wall built, like, around the city and what's beyond those walls. Because Prince Tactius and Nacitones and all of them have never been outside the walls. Hence why Tactius wants to leave the walls. And in that passage, he's like, one of these days I want to leave the walls and see what destiny awaits me. I tied that into the story, and Tactius ends up leaving the walls, and he finds out his destiny as we're looking at the masters that I wrote. Yeah. One day I'll be king like my father was. What about me? You'll always be my older sarcastic cousin. And I'm now sick, I know. This is 16. But you guys still don't know what's going on because when what? when Tacius says what? When Tacius is eating dinner, obviously, he's like, why can't we leave the walls? He's like, are the Selvins really that dangerous? And then Baramis is like, Anne is like, Selvins? Yeah. Ivan, what's going on? Why do I want to spoil this over? You'll see what I mean when you read the chapter, obviously. With Maramis and Cassius and Tacitonius and Antacius. You'll see what I mean when you read the book. Obviously. So Tacius is curious when he's a kid, why is there a wall built? That's really in a match that I wrote. And he's also curious what's beyond the walls. Hence why he said, do not the prey take shelter, protection, or run away. I think he's curious. The wall must be built because whatever is beyond it, it must be dangerous, obviously. He's curious. And when you read the chapter, he's also wondering why is Cassius and Miramis training on Xanus if there's no danger outside the walls. He's curious. You'll see that when you read the book. He's like the Northern Army, obviously. He's like, you have an army. There must be danger out there. He's curious, but Maramis and Cassius, as you've read, when Tacius was born, and Tacitonius was a kid, obviously, Queen Sarah told Cassius never tell the kids about the demon wolves. You guys caught that when you read that passage, obviously, right? Don't tell them about the demon wolves. They can't know. They're not ready yet. They're too young. This Tacius fine about demon wolves. We'll see what I mean when we do it. I won't spoil Sophie, right? Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. I was looking at Master of the Road. Please, I'm looking at a Master's Eye. I know. This is the Rings. I know. Please, right? The Rings. The Master's is my book. Masterpiece. Yeah, man. It's a masterpiece. I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah. So Eritha doesn't know what Tacius looks like. No. Eritha doesn't know what Tacius looks like because the Northerns never come to the South. He knows Tacius' name because when the prologue, Tacius the First tells him his name, obviously. I don't want to spoil this for you in the war. Yeah, so Eritad knows his son's name is Tacius. That's all he knows. He doesn't know what Tacius looks like. Eritad. He has no idea. He doesn't know what Tacius looks like, obviously. And the Selvins don't know what the Prince of Xanus looks like either. Because in Xanian law, you're not allowed to leave the walls. That's why in that scene, pretty much Cassius tells Tacius, all I'm gonna say, that in Xanian law you can't leave the walls, Tacius. Even you as a prince, you can't leave. And that's why he's like, why can't we leave the walls? And Cassius is very annoyed because he doesn't want his cousins knowing about the demon wolves. That's why he's like, Tacius, man, enough with this question, man. I've already told you so. He's like, but I don't understand. He's like, are the Southerners really that dangerous? Obviously, and they're like, Southern? She's like, bear. I'm now sick, I know, Queen Sarah and him, son. Yeah. So Sarah? Yeah. I was looking at a sick book, man, that I wrote. And Young Tacius is my worst chapter in Volume 1, by the way. But it's also a very entertaining chapter, too. All my chapters are entertaining when you read my book. It's a fucking masterpiece, my book, man. It's an amazing book, man. Yeah, man. It's a masterpiece, my book. Susanna? It's a masterpiece, my book, man. Yeah, man. a masterpiece. Yeah. Does Tachys meet Eretat in the book? Well, you'll find out what I mean when you read the book, obviously, right? Yeah, they obviously do meet in the book. You have the end war. You have the end war. All I'm gonna say is you have the end war in the end with Tachys and Eretat and Tacitonius, Maramis, Cassius and his Selden friends and the army, and you have Eretat's army. You have a big war in the end. In the last chapter. Last chapter is called War and Becoming King. You have the big war. The last chapter is pretty good. It's not my favorite because the whole chapter is just Tachysm fighting Eretat and the Wold. You have the war, and you have the other stuff after that, right? I'm gonna spoil story for you. My favorite chapter in Volume 3 is probably Walking with the Ancestors or Unexpected Journey, the first chapter with Ephesus. That's really sick too. But I'd probably give it to Walking with the Ancestors. That's probably my favorite one. The worst one is probably Secret Council and Surprising Arrival. That one's probably the worst one. War and Becoming King is pretty good. That's a good chapter too, but it's just the war, right? It's just Tachysm fighting the wolves and everything. And then you have the stuff after the politics after that, right? I won't spoil story for you. So Volume 3 is when it gets deep, yeah. Volume 3 is when it gets very deep. It gets very dark. Hence why I call it a horror fantasy, because when you read Xanus, it's clearly a horror fantasy because, like, it starts off pretty light, but, like, in the prologue, you have the war. In Volume 1 and Volume 2, you meet some of the walls, so it's a little bit dark, but it's a bit more light and Sapphires and all that stuff. But in Volume 3 is when it gets very dark. It gets really, really dark, and it gets very, very deep because you have the ancestors and everything. Yeah, because right now you guys don't know what's going on because I show like the faces in the sky. You don't know what's going on, but that's the ancestors. That's all I'm gonna say. I always spoil story for you. Yeah. The faces in the north are good. The ones in the south are devils. That's all I'm gonna say. You'll find out when I read the book. I don't want to spoil story for you. You have the ancestors. Let me call the ancestors. That's what we're gonna master that I wrote. Yeah, man. Masterpiece. Yeah. Yeah. My book is a masterpiece, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll show you guys they're unique. Obviously, you guys didn't get a chance to read it all. I'll have you guys read the whole thing this time. You guys read most of it, but I'll show you guys they're unique. This is what I wrote in the hospital. Sorry, this is what I wrote when I was in college. They're unique. Yeah, you're amazing. I know. When I told them a gift, I'm very gifted. Even my they're unique. My start to my story is amazing. The characters jump on the page too because I'm a genius, yeah. I have the gift. I wrote this while I was in class. While I was on break. Yeah, we're on break and I wrote it on my computer in class. When I was in college, right? Like, this is what? 8 years ago? 2018? Okay. Give me a sec here. It should be... Wait. Because the Hotmail format is not good. I'll go to downloads. It should be here. No? Okay, give me a sec. Because the Hotmail thing is not good, right? I have to, what? I have to download it. Give me a sec here. Why can't I... Okay. Pause and read that. Guys, see it? Wait. You guys already read most of it, but some of it you didn't read, obviously. This is what I wrote in college with Unique. Pause and read if you want. Yeah. Why even write their Unique? Nah. I'm tired, man. I feel like writing another book, man. I can easily write in 3 months, but I don't want to write another book, man. Maybe when I'm king I'll write it, but not now, man. I'm tired. Pause and read that, guys. You're amazing stories, I know. Some of my dialogue is a bit raw, as you can tell from this when you read this. But it's still fucking entertaining. It's an entertaining read. That's a beautiful start to your story. Yeah, this is my idea for the beginning of the Unique when I wrote in class. Pause that and read it. You can pause and read this. This time I'm showing you everything, because last time I skipped some of the dialogue, right? I'm making sure you guys read everything. You guys can read that. Yeah. Then I'll show you this here. You guys can read that. Pause and read that. You guys read most of it, but you didn't read all of it. And now you're getting the full story, right? Ivan, you're amazing stories. Like, yes, I'm a fucking genius, man. And the characters jump on the page when you read this too, right? Yeah. They jump out too. I'm a genius. Yeah. No. Read that. See how Megan's rich? Yeah, I gave you an idea. Megan's rich, obviously. And Dawn is rich too. She has a trust fund, but she's humble and she chooses to move to where Megan lives in, and she works for. Obviously, this is what I wrote so far for their unique. Keep reading. Read that. I wrote about 3 pages of it. 2 pages, 3.5 pages. They're unique. Yeah. I wrote it while I was in class, man. Ivan, you are gifted. Yes, man, I'm fucking gifted. I wrote this while I was in class. Like as an afterthought. This was an afterthought what I wrote, man. And it's fucking entertaining, I know. Ivan, you are amazing. Yeah, I know. And it sounds like an amazing story. I know. This is my start to their unique. Pause and read that. And this is it. That's it. Ivan, I love your beginning of their unique. I know. This is the beginning of my book for their unique. For my romance novel, right? And you can read the bottom part here. And that's it. That's why I wrote down in college 8 years ago. Very unique. Ivan, man, you are gifted. Yes, man. When I told you I'm a gifted storyteller, I wasn't playing around. I'm talented. I even wrote another genre of romance, and that's my start to their unique. Ivan, that sounds fucking sick. I know. I'm an amazing storyteller. I know how to keep you hooked. Did I hook you guys, or Ivan? Yeah, that was entertaining. Yeah, it's also entertaining too. Not as entertaining as Xanus, because fast. In my opinion, a fantasy book is more entertaining. Romance is love, but it's still entertaining. Right? It's an entertaining read, right? Yeah. I'm gifted, man. And if I wrote their unique, it'd be the best romance novel ever written too, because I'm gifted. I have the creative gift that these guys don't have. No, these people have the gifts, but they don't have the heavenly gift. They have the earthly gift. I have the heavenly gift. That's how my writing is so unique. It's so special because I have the heavenly gift from the heavens. God gave me each of the gifts. Because the gatekeepers lock the doors on me, man. That's why God has to give me the gifts. Easy, Ivan, I love the start of their unique. I know, VJ. You know, and hence why I decided to save my file, just in case when I'm king, I might revisit it and maybe write the novel. That book might be maybe a 300, maybe 350 page novel. And when I write that book, it'll be a masterpiece, and you're gonna be hooked because I'm a creative genius. I don't want to tell a good story. Yeah. Yeah. Sarah? Yeah. Ivan, show us more of Xanus. No, guys, I'm not showing you more. I've already shown you enough. I don't want to spoil a lot of stuff for you. You'll find out what I mean when you read the book. I don't want to spoil for you, man. You'll find out what I mean when you read my book, man. I'm not going to spoil any more of the story for you. And there's a reason why I didn't show you Volume 3. Because that's when the story gets deep. Tactius is in agony. He's facing the devil himself. And it's so deep that even his cousins, his sister, his mother, and some of his Southern friends are crying when he's in agony. They're crying. That's how deep it gets. I'm not going to say I won't spoil the story for you. That's how deep the story gets. It gets so deep that even his Southern friends, his mother, his sister, and everything, they're crying. The civilians of Xanus are crying. That's how deep the story gets, man. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, man. The story gets very, very dark, whereby it blows your mind away. The plot blows your mind away. It's a masterpiece. With the ancestors, it's a fucking a masterpiece, man. Whereby you're blown away, man. Well, that's why Xanus will be the best fantasy novel ever written. And it'll have raving reviews behind the scenes. All the critics are going to call it an entertaining ride of a lifetime, a literary cinematic masterpiece, an epic, thrilling horror fantasy adventure. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Obviously. It's crazy. Yeah, man. It's crazy. Crazy. Oh, even seriously, man, how the fuck you do it, man? Like, even what you show us very neat, I'm fucking impressed. That's fucking interesting. But you can tell some of my dialogue was a bit raw. I could have changed it up a little bit, obviously, but fucking everything out. That was entertaining. Yeah, man, I'm an amazing storyteller. I don't use all these big poetic words that these other authors use, but I know how to make the character jump on a page and entertain the reader. I'm all about more entertainment and hooking the reader. Whereas these other authors, they're about entertaining, but they're more about wowing the reader with their beautiful poetic words. Like, that's cool, but like, you have entertain. Is your story entertaining? Are you entertaining the reader? That's what's important, man. The important thing about writing a book is entertainment. That's why I told you my book is a $1 billion story, man. It's a book worth billions. If I wrote this book and I wasn't son of God, I'd be a rich man to this day, man. I have to sell out, obviously, because I don't have the keys. But if I wasn't son of God and I wrote this book, I'd be the next J.K. Rowling. I'd be a famous, successful author, man. And they would be adapting my book into a movie. It'd be a fucking masterpiece. And my book is gonna be a public embarrassment in the entertainment industry. Because all these authors in the entertainment industry, they write the books, and then the editors help them with the book, and those books are not even as good as my book. I did everything myself. Yeah, Ivan did everything himself with no editors to help him with his story, and he wrote a masterpiece better than all their books. I know, it's an embarrassment, man, in the industry. It's an embarrassment, yeah. It's such an embarrassment that all the book nerds around the world who love reading books, fantasy fans, right, who love reading fantasy novels, once they read my book, every fantasy novel that comes out will be a letdown. Yeah, even though this book is pretty good, it was pretty entertaining, it feels normal compared to Ivan's book. There's something unique about Ivan's story, and these books did not entertain me the way Ivan did. Yeah, the books did not entertain the reader the way Ivan did. Because I'm a creative genius, I have the gift from the heavens. God gave me the gift. Because Ivan, you are gifted, man. You are an amazing storyteller. Yes, I am. I'm an amazing. I write books too. I'm an amazing author too. Oh. Ivan, did you ever think of being a full-time author? Yes. When I started my miscellaneous series, at first, I had that thought, maybe I should just write, when I'm king, I should just be a full-time author and just write books. But then I'm like, nah, being an author is not my dream. My dream is to be a movie star. The money I make off the book, I'm going to start Scott Entertainment with VJ. And I'm going to adapt the Xanus movie, and I'm going to do The Great Escape with Keanu Reeves or Tom Cruise, and then they're unique, you know what I'm saying? Cage happens and there, yeah. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. I have new arguments. Yes, man. When I told you what Amazing Swords, I wasn't playing around. I showed you guys snippets of my Xanus book. That's fucking entertaining, yeah. And I showed you guys my Wire was not very unique. And I wrote that in class, man. This is as an afterthought. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to write a romance story? And I had this idea they're unique, and I wrote it without even brainstorming. And later on, I did more brainstorming, but I never got I never finished it. If you just say, Ivan, write their unique, I'm like, nah, I'm too stressed out. I don't want to write their unique, man. I can't afford to proofread 2 books. It's just too expensive for me. The Xanus book I finished, but the Their Unique book I did not finish. When I'm king, I might write the book. Maybe I might finish it and write it. But you just want to tell me, Ivan, you should write it, and we can adapt it into the movie if you want. Obviously, yeah. She might tell me that means you're right. Well, I'm most likely not going to, but yeah. Because my dream, the truth is, guys, my dream. I know all you book nerds are gonna love my book, but like the truth is, my dream is not to be a successful author. Being an author is cool, but being a movie star is much better than being an author, right? It's much more cooler being a movie star than being an author. That's my dream. I don't want to be an author. I only wrote Xanus because I had no choice. The gates locked everything on me. Hence why I had to write the book as a source of income. But once I experience that sense of fame, and my book gets raving reviews, I don't know, the best fantasy novel written in history, obviously. The money I make off that, I'm gonna start Scott's name with VJ, and we're gonna make we're gonna adapt the movie, the book into a movie. Easy, I can't wait to go Olivia. I know VJ, I'm excited too, son. Yeah. Zion? Oh, I even write there unique. No, guys. I can't afford to, like, I can afford it, but I have to save like $4,000, man. $4,000 is a lot of money, man. Yeah, man. I'm already stressed out enough. I have to pay off the government. And I gotta save like $2,000 to get my book proofed, obviously, this year. So, yeah. I'm not gonna write their unique, obviously. I'll make more money. I'll make, I don't know, like my $28 billion. I'm not gonna write their unique. Obviously. Ivan, do you think their unique would have been better than Xanus? No, because their unique is a romance. So I think it would have been a masterpiece too. But romance, fantasy is more interesting than romance, right? Yeah, I think it'd be pretty close. Some people might like their unique better, but I think Xanus would be the better book because an epic fantasy novel is better than an epic romance novel, right? Romance is just love, obviously. Yeah. Some saying? Romance is just love. Romance is just love, yeah. Romance is just love, yeah. So I want the Saladins to believe Takis is a prince. They can't believe it because Takis took on a fake identity and he claimed to be Clonius, the farmer boy from Cyrus. He worked for Eli, and all of a sudden he claims to be the Prince of Xanus. They can't believe it. Like, what the fuck? Why the fuck would the prince from the north, the Prince of Xanus, come to the south? The Northern's never come to the south. What the fuck is the prince doing here? That's why they can't believe it. Except for Lily. Lily has faith. And Sirius and Papyri know he's a prince, as you guys read in the end of that chapter, right? They know he's a prince. They also convince Eli, yeah, he's telling the truth, but we don't believe you. This guy's telling the truth, obviously. Yeah. So it's not just Tactius. No, Tactius, Sirius, and Papyri get thrown in a dungeon, but the real drama is about Tactius, obviously, because Tactius claims to be the Prince of Xanus, obviously. But Papyri and Sirius are also guilty too. You'll see when I'm going to read the book. But the real drama is about Tactius because he claims to be the Prince of Xanus. And Eli doesn't believe it. He's like, that can't be true. And they seize him and they throw him in a dungeon. But when Tactius tells Lithia, I'm the prince, she's like, I believe you, Tactius. And then Belle believes whatever Lithia says because she trusts her with her life. They're best friends. But all the other Saladins don't believe that Tactius is the Prince of Xanus. That's why you had that scene with Job, right? With Cassius and Suetonius. Yeah, obviously. So if Cassius and Suetonius did not come to Sapphires, Tactius would have been fucked. Yeah. If Cassius and Suetonius did not come to Sapphires, Tactius would have been fucked. Because the Saladins don't believe he's a Prince of Xanus, obviously. He would have been fucked, obviously, yeah. Yeah, our cousin, his horse is thirsty. I'm now sick, I know. Why did he say his horse is thirsty? Because they had a long journey from Barak, right? Hence why when they arrived to the wall, to the narrow wall entrance, and they meet Job at the entrance of the city, Cassie's like, this horse is thirsty. I'm now sick, I know. And he's like, who are you and what are you doing here? He's like, my name is Cassius. I'm a general of the Zanian army, and we just escaped Barak. He's like, a Zanian here in Sapphires who escaped the land we fear most. What are you doing here? You always get that reaction. What are you doing here? Yeah, they're shocked. You know what I'm saying? Our cousin, it's always like our cousin. We seek Prince Tactius. As the after found passage here, and it says Job gulped. Why did Job gulp? Because oh my God, what if Tactius really is the prince? That's why he gulped, obviously, and that leads to the scene with Job in the stable. When Suetonius and Cassius went to the stable, Job had an idea why they were there. You'll see what I mean when you read more of the passage, obviously. That's why he was nervous when Cassius had his sword, his hand gripped tightly onto his sword. He's like, Job, I take it you had a horses taken care of? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Obviously. And that ties into the passage when Cassius says, this horse is thirsty, obviously. Later on, Job takes their horses and he takes care of them in the stable. As you got in that passage, he fed them and they were drinking. He's like, Job, I take it you had a horses taken care of? Yes, they're well fed and dry. There's a reason for that. And what about Tactius? I was sick, I know. I was so sick. That was a sick passage, yeah. Yeah. And what about Tactius? You know, I said, I was sick, I know. I was a sick passage. I was a sick passage. I'm now sick, I know. I was fucking sick. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're looking at a sick movie. Imagine adapting onto the screen. You see me Avant Joje. You know what I'm saying? We get thrown in a dungeon, and then I'm the prince, and we're in the dungeon. I'm in chains. Looking at a sick movie. Peter, I'd be looking at a sick movie. I know, Peter. I'd be looking at a match. This is Lord of the Rings. I know, Peter. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, I'm saying, yeah. Ivan, how powerful is Eli? Eli is so powerful that he sees Tactius. He arrested Tactius and threw him in a dungeon, man. He's very powerful. And it took Cassius and Tacitus, who are Northerns, obviously, from the north to really convince him to release Tactius, obviously. Otherwise, Tactius never would have got released. That's how powerful Eli is. Tactius does have authority over Eli, but because they don't believe he's the Prince of Xanus, they seized him, they arrested him, and they threw him in a dungeon. Yeah. They arrested him, obviously. That's why when the bell sounded, Lithia was like, what the fuck is going on? She went to see Eli in her quarters. She's like, Father, what's wrong? And he's like, not now, Lithia. She's like, tell me. He's like, that man. She's like, who? He's like, you already know. She's like, Colonius? What did he do? Did he and Papari fight again? No, darling. That Colonius and Papari are nothing but fakes and thieves. How can you speak such things, Father? Do you not welcome them in your home? Why the sun mood change, I'm saying. And he's like, Lithia, my sweet Lithia, you know, Colonius is not from Saris. He claims to be the Prince of Xanus. That cannot be. She was shocked. But even though Lithia was shocked and she couldn't believe it, when she went to see Tactius in the dungeon, I almost was over, and Tactius tells her he's the Prince of Xanus, she says she has the faith. She says, I believe you, Tactius. I believe you are the Prince of Xanus. I believe what you're saying is true. Whereas all the other Southerners don't believe it. And she tries her best to convince Eli when you read the passage. But Eli, he's still not convinced. Obviously. That's why you had that scene when Cornelius is like, he's like, Sir Eli, he's like, we have long discussed the foretelling. I'm now sick, I know. We have long discussed the foretelling speculations all day. Should release those prisoners. And Lithia's like, or give them a fair trial with evidence, Father. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and Cassius barging in, and he had to try his best to convince Eli to release Tactius. Like, yeah, a sick book, man, I wrote. Yeah, man. Does Cassius and Tacitus have authority over Eli? Yes, they do. You'll see what I mean when you read more of the passage. When they prove to them that they're Northerns, Eli is like, holy shit, man. He was a bit like. And that's why whenever Cassius and Tacitus walk in, and Job says they claim to be the cousins of Tactius, Eli was a bit shocked. He was taken back, obviously. Holy shit, these are Northerns. What the fuck are these Northerns doing here? Yeah. Obviously. But even Eli was not convinced though they were Tactius' cousins, and he was not convinced they were Northerns. That's why in the next verse he says, how I know you're not an imposter, how do I know you're not a Southern acting as a Northern? Because the reason why he said that, because the Southerners can't believe the Northerns will come to the South, man. Especially the royal people of the royal family, they just can't believe it. That's why they're shocked. That's why in that passage in the end of that chapter, I said Job gulped, because he was shocked that what are the Northerns doing in Xanus and Sacrifice. And when I said we see Prince Tactius, he was worried. Holy shit. He was worried. Holy shit. I hope Tactius is not really the prince. That's why he gulped. Obviously, because the Northerns have authority over the Southerners, right? Yeah, Cassius and Astonians have authority over Eli. They're from the north, they're the royal family, they have authority over them. But Eli doesn't believe they're really Northerns. Until later on, you'll see when you read the rest of that section there. You read a few more of the dialogue, you get the story. That's why I wrote a masterpiece, man. I wrote an amazing book. Yeah. I wrote a masterpiece. I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's why what? That's why the gates won't turn around, but zero man. You're not touching down my money, man. It's money. It's for me. VJ's not for you. You're not touching down my money, man. Zero. You kept me poor for 40 years, and you locked all doors. I mean, you haven't worked minimum wage, and you gave me this fucking mental illness, and what? Hence why you're not touching down on my fucking money, man. See what I'm saying? Yeah. But the families gave you mental illness. Of course they did, man. If I'm God, I was born with a healthy brain. They did something to my fucking brain, man. They're fucking wicked people, man. I lost memory of that of my nature. I didn't know I was God. I didn't know I had a wife. They did something to my fucking brain because they're wicked people, man. Because they don't like me, yeah. Obviously. He knocked me out of that rock, and maybe when I was in the womb, my stepmother was drinking and everything, and it fucked up my brain. I was born with a mental illness. Obviously. Did you always have a mental illness when you were a kid? Yeah, even when I was a kid, I had mental issues. I always had a mental illness. I was born with a mental illness. Because I'm God, I had a healthy brain, but because the gates are wicked people, they gave me this mental illness. They don't like me. Yeah, let's fuck up Ivan's brain. That's why I also struggled in school too. Because if I'm God, I'm obviously a naturally smart guy, but throughout my life, I struggled in school. I struggled cognitively in school and everything, and yeah, they fucked up my brain because they're wicked people, man. And they gave me this mental illness. Yeah, man. Yeah. Ivan, what do you have? I have psychosis, schizophrenia. Yeah. You hear voices too? Yes, I do. I hear voices talking to me. Yeah, I do. And I also think psychotic thoughts and fucked up in the head. Yeah, man. And I feel like coming out. My mind's a mess, man. I'm there in the head, but I have mental issues, man. I'm a bit there in the head. I'm not a little bit there in the head. I have mental issues. I'm fucked up in the head. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, VJ knows you have mental illness. Yeah, VJ knows I have a mental illness. That's when that song is like, you might be crazy. Have I told you lately? Yeah. Some people tell me you're a little bit off. Yeah, I'm there in the head, but I have mental problems, man. I have mental issues. Obviously. I'm a bit fucked up in the head. VJ is the cure to my mind, obviously. But, like, I have a mental illness, obviously. Yeah. And Victoria Justice have a mental illness. No, Victoria Justice does not have a mental illness, but she's a cheating whore. Whereas I have a mental illness, but I'm not addicted to sex. I have the gift of celibacy like Jesus. I don't struggle with lust, obviously, but my hormones are through the roof, and I like that Disney chick. I'm gonna go for her. I'm gonna get her number down before she's leaving in like August, September. So I'm gonna get her number down before she leaves Denty's. And I'm gonna hang out with her, and I'm gonna get my first girlfriend. Obviously, and if she gives me hell, I'm gonna ignore her. You're a cheating whore. You can't say shit. I shut you for good, man. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when you made that video like 11 years ago, 10 years ago, when I was 23. I said I'm currently writing a novel. You guys remember that? When I started my YouTube channel? Yeah. That was when I wasn't like, back then I was like on chapter 4, chapter 5 of Xanus, I think. I was on chapter, what? I think chapter 4 back then. And I procrastinated like crazy, but I didn't know those were locked on me. And the whole time I happened to be writing my novel. God protect me, right? Yeah. And once I found the doors are locked on me, okay, how can I have the keys, I can open my own door. I have to own something. How can I make money for me and VJ? Oh my God, I'm writing Xanus. And I ended up writing the book. I ended up writing the novel. I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah. Honestly. I remember how I told you in that video I made 10 years ago, I'm very creative. Yeah. And you guys probably thought my book wasn't that good. Ivan's book might not be that good. And when I showed you my symbols of my book, you guys were probably shocked. Holy shit, man! Ivan's book's fucking entertaining. Ivan's book is like the perfect book. Yeah, my book is like the perfect book. There's something so unique about it and so entertaining about it. It stands out from all these other novels because I'm a creative genius. Obviously, I wrote pretty much the perfect novel, man. It's a masterpiece. Yeah, critics will give my book 10 out of 10 reviews, man. Because, like, my book will not get 9.5. It will get, like, 9.8, 10 out of 10 reviews. Because it's so entertaining. It's crazy, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's so entertaining. It's crazy. Some saying? My book is so entertaining. It's crazy. It's a masterpiece. Man. Yeah. I wrote a masterpiece. A masterpiece, yeah, man. And you're welcome, Regent, man. I found a way to make money for me and you. I told you, I didn't just write some shitty book to make money, guys. I wrote a masterpiece. I wrote an amazing book, yeah. It's one thing to write a shitty book and make money. It's one thing to write a masterpiece and make your money. I wrote $1 billion story. $1 billion story about a masterpiece. And I have the keys. I own the Xanus brand. That's billions for me, VJ. And I'm not selling to the gates, man. I'm not selling to you wicked people. You're fucking crazy. I'm not selling to you wicked people. You're crazy? No way, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, Xanus is a masterpiece, man. Masterpiece. Yeah. So if you didn't know you were this gifted, no, I didn't. Because back then, I didn't know I was God back then. Obviously. But I remember when I started reading sections of my chapters, I know I would read other books. I'm like, there's something very unique about my story. Yeah, the characters up on the page, it feels very different and unique and fresh. These books have a different feeling when I read it. And once I started writing more of my chapters, I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking interesting. It finally hit my mind, yeah, I wrote the best fast novel written. That's why I've been bragging to you guys for years. Ever since I started my Miscellaneous Series, how my book is the best fast novel written. And you guys now believe what I'm saying is true because I showed you snippets of my book. And be honest, is my book more entertaining than the other books, Ivan? Yes, it is, Ivan, yeah. My book is more entertaining than these other books, these other normal books, right? Because all these fantasy novels that come out, obviously, they feel normal for my book. There's something very unique. My book is special. It's unique. These books feel normal for my book, as you guys read, right? The characters up on the page. The story's fresh, and it feels very unique compared to these other books. These other books feel normal for my book. Yeah, as I showed you Lord of the Rings yesterday, right? I showed you Lord of the Rings, and you see a huge difference when you read it. My book is a more entertaining read. My book is a more entertaining read. Yeah, I wrote a masterpiece, man. That's why my stepfather, I heard him say, he's like, how the heck can you come up with a story like that? When the Gates read my book, they were shocked, obviously, when they read it. And so my stepmother told me, yeah, Ivan, your book's #1, and Hollywood would love your story. I know, but I'm not selling out to you, Wade. I don't want to be in the dirty Hollywood system. And what? My stepfather was like, how the heck can you come up with a story like that? They were shocked when they read my book. Yeah, it's a masterpiece, man. That's why I deleted my file. Because what? They don't want me being king and Vijay with me. They're crazy people. Yeah. I wrote a masterpiece, man. Yeah, man. Masterpiece. No, are you bluffing, man? Did you really write what you show us? Yes, guys. I wrote what I showed you with no help. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you a story. I was initially gonna write Last of Us Ains with my younger brother. Obviously, I remember that. I did the brainstorm. Like, hey man, do you want to write Last of Us Ains together? Obviously, this is why I didn't know they were wicked and the doors were locked. Obviously, and I remember my younger said brother. He wrote a bit of the prologue. He had this stupid idea with the bloodstone. It was very very stupid and silly. I'm like, no, I don't want I don't want that in the story. I remember I kept bugging him, hey man, like, you want to write the book or not? He's like, yeah, we'll write it. And he kept procrastinating. And eventually I'm like, you know what, I'm going to write this on my own. That's actually a true story. Obviously, but God protected me. Had he wrote it with me, then what? The Gates would have some control of my book, obviously. So God protected me. I decided to write it on my own. I didn't need his help, obviously. And I ended up writing the book, and I own the rights to the book because I wrote it. I wrote it all on my own. Yeah, it's my rights, my brand. It'll be a big brand, a bigger brand than Harry Potter and Star Wars, man, and Marvel, man. Once I release it, I make my $15 billion off the book, and I make the movie for $2 billion. I make the game for $500 million. I sell the merch, and the Xanus brand becomes a huge mega brand, man. It's huge, man. Like an $80 billion brand, something huge. Yeah. Becomes a massive brand, my brand. Yeah. Obviously. So they don't want you being billionaires. Yeah, they can't stand the fact of me controlling my money and making that kind of money. They don't want me to be multi-billionaires. They want us to be under them and be worth like 60 million bucks. I don't mind if I am major worth 60 million bucks, but I don't want them being multi-billionaires, living that amazing life. They're envious, hence why I came with the keys. I'm not stupid, man. Otherwise, the gates would dupe me. Yeah, they would destroy my life. Yeah. That's why I gave you the keys, Ivan. Now we can open it. I know you hate the keys, and you have anxiety and everything, but like that's how you open the door, and that's how you make your money, man. That's how you make your money, Ivan. People are just hating on you because they're jealous, man. They can't open the door easy like you and VJ. They can't make their easy billions like you and VJ. That's why they hate on you with the keys, because they're envious and jealous, man. I can open the door so easily. They can't. They work hard for 80K, 50K, 100K, 200K, 300K, a million, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, and I can make my easy billions easy off my book. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome, VJ. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. You are welcome. Ivan, what led you to be serious with Xanus? When I applied to Mopify back in 2019, I was willing to work full time. I would have made like my 600, 700 bucks every week, and I didn't get those hours. I knew that's when I knew the doors were locked on me, and I was very pissed off. I kicked the chair outside and I broke the chair. This is fucking bullshit, man. I can't get a break in my life. Yeah. And I remember the gates. They gestured like suck my dick. Yeah. You're not touching a dime of money. Yeah, you want to be an asshole like that. You're also not touching a dime of money on my book either, man. You won't let me make money in this world. The money off the books for me. You're not touching a dime of money either. Zero. It's my brand. It's not yours. You're not touching my money, man. You have your trillions in your bank. The billions off the books for me, VG. It's not for you. You're just a greedy pig. I want to control everything in this world. Yeah, you may control everything in the world, but you didn't create this place, man. You don't deserve to control my money, man. You didn't create this place. You're not God. Don't hate on this, yeah. You're not God, man. You did not create this place. I did. Me and VJ, you didn't. There you go. Yeah. This is my house. Yeah, it may be your house. I don't know. You're the god of the money system in the world, but you're not the god of the universe. You didn't create this house, and you don't deserve to control my money. You're not God. You're not the true God who created the universe. Me and VJ created it, hence you don't deserve to control our money, man. We deserve to control our money. We're the heirs. You're not. You did not create this place. We did. Me and VJ created the universe. You didn't, and you don't deserve to control our money. So I'm saying, don't hate them. Saying, yeah. That's how it works, right? Yeah. I have a new be bold. Yeah, I'm gonna be bold. Yeah. That's the symbols in the Bible where it says what? Where Jesus says, when Satan talks to Jesus, he says, if you bow down and worship me, I'll give you all the wealth and everything in the world. And Jesus says, you worship your God only. Yeah. And Jesus is bold when he casts out Satan and his demons. That's symbols of me. When I face the gatekeepers, I'm bold. They're look at something scary and I'm bold. I'm like, I'm not fucking selling you, man. Yeah, I'm like, you're not touching my money. No, man. No, you made your choice. You're gonna pay for this. Yeah. Obviously, I choose not to bow to the gatekeepers, and I suffer the consequences. And I come back to life, and I take my life, and I'm peacing out. And you left me behind, you're not safe. But there you go. Yeah. So the gates let their money corrupt them. Yeah, they got filled when me and Vija were born. They got filled with their devil and envy, and they decided to lock all the doors on me and Vija when you know we're fucking God. And they decided to be stupid and lock all the doors. Yeah, I can take Ivan. I'm like, you can't beat God, man. Before I came here, I wrote my story. I came here with the keys to the kingdom. I have to sell to you. And God gave me the gift. I wrote my own book. He made it easier for me. I own the rights to this. You're not touching my money, man. I'm not selling to you, man. I'd rather wake up one day and have you two, man. I'm not going to have you share with a wife and have you destroy my life like garbage wife. You crazy? Yeah, you already got a piece of my wife. You're not getting any more a piece of her, man. She's my wife, and I deserve to have her all to myself. I'm not sharing with the world. You guys are fucking crazy people, yeah. I deserve VJ all to myself. I don't want to share with the world. There you go. Yeah. So the Gates thought they can beat you and win the game. Yeah, but I wrote my story before I came here. Even if you knock me out of the rock, I'm still gonna find out about Victoria Justice and I'm God. They knocked me out of that rock. They wiped my memory. My whole life I didn't know. Like, for 22 years of my life, I didn't know I was God. I thought I was just some random person. But they kept it from me. Yeah, Ivan can't know he's God. We wiped his memory. Hopefully he's lost. He doesn't know about VJ. But I found out about VJ when I watched Eye Candy. I'm like, who the fuck is this chick? There's something unique about this chick. This chick is fucking hot. And she became my celebrity crush, obviously. And I liked her on Facebook. I wrote on the wall and everything. I didn't, the whole time that chick's my wife. Fucking crazy story. I remember that. Yeah, remember Beautiful Justice, guys? Yeah, I remember that. I wrote on her wall. VJ knew I was her husband, obviously, but I had no idea that she was my wife. But she knew I was lost. Yeah, Ivan's lost. They wiped his memory. Yeah, they wiped my memory of the gates. Hence why I have a mental illness. They did something to my brain, man. They're fucking wicked people. Yeah, man. They fucked up my brain. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't know the doors locked to you? No, I didn't. But I was a bit suspicious. I'm like, okay, why are my brothers successful and why am I a failure in life? Like, I'm trying my best to be successful, but I always go back to doing shitty minimum wage jobs. Obviously, but I didn't know the doors were locked on me, obviously. But I'm like, why are my brothers successful and I'm a failure in life? What the fuck is going on here? I thought because I wasn't serious, I didn't go to school, but then I went to school. And school didn't work out. They sabotaged my marks. What the fuck's going on here? I still didn't know the doors were locked on me. And eventually I started to wake up and I found out I was God. God protecting me. And I found out he was my wife. Then when I applied that modified job, I didn't get those hours. That's when I knew the doors were locked on me. Because I was willing to work like 5-6 days a week. I would have made my $700. and I got like 3 shifts a month, and I knew, yeah, the doors are locked on me. I knew the doors were locked. That's why I knew. God protected me, and I'm like, okay, fine. They lock the doors on me. Okay, I'm gonna write my book Xanus. I was consistent. I worked on my book every day for like 10 months straight, 11 months straight, and I finished my book. Yeah, I was stressed out, but I had a goal. Every day for like months, I would write 5 pages. Okay, Ivan, write 5 pages every day. Write it on your laptop, and you'll finish your book. And I wrote 5 pages every day on my laptop, and I ended up writing my masterpiece. Fucking masterpiece, yeah, man. Yeah, but Ivan, how do you do it, man? Like what you show so far is fucking entertaining. I know I'm a gifted man. I just have the creative gift. But Ivan, like, how do you make your character jump on the page? Like all these other authors write dialogue, and you write dialogue, and your character jump on the page. How do you do it? I don't know. It's a gift. It's a gift. God gave me the gift, man. I have the gift from the heavens. I know how to entertain you and make the characters feel real. It's just a gift that I have. I have my notebook. Ivan, did you have writer's block? Sometimes I had writer's block, but most of the time I just let my creativity flow, and I just keep writing, and it ends up, and I read it. It's fucking sick. It's entertaining, and I end up writing a masterpiece. Yeah, I'm gifted. Yeah. Every day I have a notebook, obviously, and I would write 5 pages. Okay, I want this to happen. I write, and I write on my laptop. I read over. Holy shit, this is sick. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I wrote my masterpiece. I'm gifted, obviously. God gave me the gift. Why? How do you do it? Seriously, I don't know. I can't tell you how the trick I have. It's a gift I have. God gave me the gift. The talents and the gifts right now. God gave me the creative gift. I have the gift, man. From the heavens. I'm creative. Yeah, man. God gave me the gifts. Why did God give me the gifts? Because He knew the gatekeeper was locking doors. Man, that's why you have to give me the gifts. That way I can own my own brand, control my own brand, and that's why He gave me the gifts, because He knew the gates locked the doors on me. That's why God gave me VJ the gifts. But VJ, even though she has the gifts, she's stupid. She saw to the gates and she got duped. Whereas me, I did not get duped. I wrote my book, and that money's mine. It's not yours. You're not touching my money. You won't let me touch your money, and all of a sudden you think it's okay for you to touch my money because you're fucking greedy, man. Oh my god. Greedy psychopaths, man. Yeah, man. You have all the money in the world goes to you, and you're really going to make a big deal over making, I don't know, $50 well, yeah, I'm envious. I don't want you living that life of VJ, man. It's more I'm going to be fucking envious. I don't want you controlling my money. You're stealing from us, Ivan. Because they control everything in their world, they don't want me controlling my money because they see me as a thief. Because even though all the money in the world's going to them, Ivan's controlling his own money. He's making his billions. They see me as stealing their money. Because everything in the world goes to them. That's why they don't want me to control my money, because they're crazy people. And they're envious. They don't want me living that multiple life with VJ. I can't be judged myself. They're crazy people. That's why I came with the keys, so why the gates don't toot me. Yeah. That's why God gave me the keys to the kingdom. So, Sarah? Almost on here, guys. I talk for now in 3 minutes. So have your book's a masterpiece? Yeah, man. It's... My book is like the perfect book. It's pretty much the perfect book. Yeah, it's like a perfectly written novel, man. It's constant entertainment. It's very unique and special. And what? You'll see when you read it, and it's a masterpiece. It's better than Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Times, Game of Thrones, and all those other novels, man. Where there's a reason why I told you guys like Brandon Sanderson, George R. R. Martin, Stephen Erickson, J.K. Rowling, and all of them are gonna feel like shit. Stephen Erickson are gonna feel like shit when they read my book, because my book is better than the books, and no author has entertained the reader the way Ivan has, man. My book is a masterpiece, as I showed you guys from the snippets of my book, right? Yeah, Ivan's very entertaining. Yeah, and when I tell you my whole book is entertaining, that I'm not lying to you guys. Oh, Ivan, seriously, man, is your whole book like that? Yes. It's the whole, all 3 volumes is constant entertainment. You're constantly on the edge of your seat hooked because I'm a fucking creative genius. I know how to control your mind and keep you hooked. I'm an amazing storyteller, Samsara. God gave me the heavenly gift. Yeah. Yeah. Samsara? So Takis being thrown in a dungeon humbles him, yeah. Once Takis gets thrown in a dungeon, that humbles him. The experience humbles him, and he's more sympathetic towards the Saladins, as you'll see when you read the rest of that chapter, obviously. The rest of the Exodus of Safi's chapter, he sympathizes more towards the Saladins. Whereas at first he looks down on Saladins, he's very cocky. But once he gets thrown in a dungeon, he's more humble, he's more mature, and he has more of a sympathy towards the Saladins. Tactius. And in Volume 3, Tactius no longer looks down on Saladins. He has sympathy towards them. You'll see what I mean when they arrive to the wall. Tactius and Cassius are defending the Saladins. Looking at a masterpiece that I wrote, man, yeah. An amazing movie. Amazing book I wrote. Looking at a masterpiece. Yeah. And you're welcome to him, and I got our money, right? I got our money, yeah. So Ivan, Lithia constantly has this faith, yeah. When Tactius tells Lithia that he's a princess and she believes her, in Volume 3, when you get to the big plot twist, Lithia also has faith too. She constantly has this faith towards Tactius when you read the book, Lithia. Obviously. And Eli and them eventually have more faith towards Tactius too when you read Volume 3, but yeah, in Volume 2, Eli and them don't believe Taki's the Prince of Xanus. They can't believe it. They can't believe the Prince from the North would come to the South. And he took on a fake identity. That's why they can't believe he's the Prince of Xanus. That's why they seized him and threw him in a dungeon. Obviously. Yeah. So, Sarah? Sometimes I have not caught that. I am, yeah. Are you the son from the north, the son of royal blood? Speak, tell us. I am, you know what I'm saying? The crowd is shocked when he says that. He's really the prince, the last prince, the son of Tactius the first? Yeah. They're shocked at Safians. They can't believe the Prince of Xanus would be in the south. And that's why they're shocked, obviously. That's why I wrote a masterpiece. And when you read more of that scene, obviously, you see how Tactius now has more sympathy towards the Southerns. Obviously. He has sympathy towards the Southerns, obviously. Yeah. You'll see when we read that chapter. I don't want to spoil the story for you, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. Does Cassius look down on the Southerns? Yes, Cassius does look down on the Southerns, but he has a little bit of sympathy toward. He doesn't mock them the way Tacitonius does. Like Tacitonius constantly mocks the Southerns. He makes fun of them. But like Cassius, even though he looks down on Southerns, obviously, as you read in that passage with Job, he's like Southern. They look down on him, obviously. He has a bit more sympathy towards them. As in that when Cleo, Sebastian, Francis escaped Lamar, he's like, Hephaestus will be safe for you, but as a Southern, you will not be welcome. Just tell them that Cassius sent you. Because he knew that they would not be welcome in the North. You will not be welcome, guys. You gotta tell them Cassius sent you. Otherwise, they won't let you through the wall. What happens to those three guys? You'll see what I mean when you read Volume 3. I won't spoil the story for you. You'll see what I mean when you read Volume 3. Yeah. That's why Volume 3 is my favorite. Because that's when the story gets so deep, man. It gets like crazy level deep. Yeah. Obviously. Whereby Tactius' like friends, his cousins, and the woman and all of them are crying, man. When he's in agony, it's all I'm gonna say, yeah, it's deep. It's very, very dark, very, very deep, Volume 3. It's a dark chapter, man. It's a dark episode of Tactius' life. And that's why once you read the book, you're like, yeah, this is a masterpiece, because you have the story of this kid in Xanus. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know inside the walls, doesn't know what leaving walls. He leaves the walls, he meets Sirius Papyri, he goes to Saphius. Obviously, he has a fake identity, he gets thrown in a dungeon, and you have what happens after that. You have the big plot twist in Volume 3, and then you have that story, it gets dark, he's in agony, and you're looking at a masterpiece, man, I wrote, man. The whole world's like, holy shit, man, I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah, I wrote a masterpiece. Amazing book. Blows your mind away, man. Yeah. Ivan, what volume will blow your mind away the most? Volume 3. That's why it's my favorite. Because Volume 3 is when it gets very dark. That's why I call Xanus a horror fantasy novel. When you read it, it's a horror fantasy novel because Volume 3 is when it gets very deep and very dark. Obviously. And that's why people are like, yeah, Ivan, this will be better than Lord of the Rings. Looking at a masterpiece, I know. It's a fucking masterpiece. Looking at a better than Lord of the Rings. People tell me that, yeah. I want a masterpiece, man. Yeah, man. Ivan, do you give foreshadowing? Do you give a foreshadowing of what happens in Volume 3? Yes, I do. When you read the Axis of Saphius, towards the end of the chapter, before that hostile crowd, when the characters talk, I do give a little bit of foreshadowing about Takis and everything. You'll see what I mean when you read the book. I don't want to spoil the story for you. That's why I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah, I always give clues and foreshadowings when you read my book, right? Like in Young Takis, he's like, one of these days I want to leave these walls and see what destiny awaits me. He meets the wall, he leaves the walls, and Takis ends up finding out his destiny. That's why I tie a lot of things into what happened in their life, earlier in their life, because I'm a genius. Yeah. Samsara? I'm a genius. Yeah. Does Lithia like Takis? Of course she does. In that scene, when she talks to Eli, you can tell she when she said what's wrong, she had a feeling that it was she had a gut feeling it had something to do with Takis, obviously. That's why she's like, tell me. You know what I'm saying? He's like that man. He's like, who? He's like, you already know. She's like, Colonius? Yeah, she knew. She had a gut feeling it had to do with Takis. That's why she immediately went to see Eli. She likes Takis, obviously. When you read it, I want to spoil a story for you. So I'm saying. And Belle likes Papyri. And Mary likes... The only thing I'm going to tell you, Mary likes Cornelius. Belle likes Papyri. Lithia likes Takis. When you read the book, obviously. So I'm going to say I'm going to spoil a story for you. Yeah. Can Papyri and all of them hold their own against the wolves? Yes, they can, but they struggle more, obviously. They can hold their own against the random wolves, but they can't beat like guys like Morale and Bo and all of them. Only the Northerns can take those guys. But like the Saladins can even hold their own against the wolves, but they struggle a lot more with the wolves. Obviously, they're not as good fighters as the Northern. You'll see when we read the book. I won't spoil the story for you. The Northerners are bred fighters. They're trained in Zane arts. Tactius, Meramis, Cassius, and Suetonius are trained in the Zane arts. That's why they're badass fighters. And that's why in that scene, Cassius is like, relax, Tass, we're trained warriors. No one can stand against us here. Because they know the Saladins are not trained in the arts. Obviously. But like, Tassonius was a bit paranoid. Like, what if we get thrown in a dungeon? Like, what if it's a trap? And Cassius is like, Tacitonius, seal it, we'll be fine. We're trained warriors, no one can stand against us here. Yeah, they're trained warriors. The Saladins are not trained in the arts. The Northerns are trained in the arts. And that's why I wrote a masterpiece, the best fast novel written. You guys will see what I mean when we read my book. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Stay tuned, I'll make a video tomorrow after my ship that Cocoa Fruity. I'm most likely work tomorrow, Cocoa Fruity. Designer, I'm signing out. Peace, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Peace out. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Peace, guys. Don't hang him, son.